Hey y'all, welcome to Rotten to the Lore. I'm Alex, the queer.
I'm Cece, or Agro Baby.
Yeah. And today we're going to get to talk about Archazia's Island and Reign of Jafar and what those crazy things were. And we're also going to talk a little bit about GenCon. I didn't get to go, but Cece got to go, which is super, super cool. Let's jump into some of the lore behind Reign of Jafar and Archazia's Island.
Yeah, so starting this episode, we're going to start taking things a little differently now that we're catching up to our current time and about to jump into rotation. So we're going to have a little more conversation, a little less high production, because we're also getting into the busy time of year for both of us. So let's talk a little bit about Archazia's Island and the Reign of Jafar, because the story, as we last saw, was everyone was headed out into the Azerite seas. They were trying to figure out how to continue on this quest and save Lorcana from all of the things that are happening. And they land in this island, Archazia's Island, where they meet this wise old owl. Archazia becomes their mentor. She teaches them all about ink casting, all about just who they are as Illumineers and how to move forward in this journey and epic adventure with the glimmers at their side. And these two sets are very connected in their story, because Archazia has this beautiful palace, and you can see it. I wish I had a picture to show you right now, but we'll put one up on social media. You see this beautiful palace that she lives in when she invites the Illumineers to learn and train. And as the reign of Jafar starts to take over, that it's almost like a glitch effect, you can imagine, that all of a sudden this like a skin, almost like a Jafar skin, comes down over the castle, and all of a sudden the castle is Jafar's castle, and he's here, the big bad. He's decided that he's now got the Hexwell crown, and he's now going to be taking everything over. So again, we did get another Illumineers quest this set, where we were able to team up with the Illumineer, or as Illumineers, with our friend Illumineers, and take out Jafar again, getting our saving Lorcana for the time being. And so watching the story evolve through these sets about sort of just like this beautiful, lovely, light, wonderful space where we're learning and we're growing and we're getting better, to this like deep, dark, Jafar business, which, like, of course I love. That's my happy place. Yeah. I'm always going to be happy when the big bads come out. And this was a good one. It was a lot of fun. It was fun to play. And then we ended up with Jafar also as our card for the set champs, just like we did with when Ursula came out, and that was pretty cool. So that's pretty much where we're at now as we get ready to go into rotation.
Yeah. And I think also thinking about like the meta, for example, with Archazia's Island, initially, right, we have our medium size, happy as a clam crab, that blue steel deck, or sapphire steel deck, was just, everybody was playing it. And if you weren't playing it, you weren't winning. And I was playing sapphire steel. Transparently, maybe I'm the villain. But like, it was a lot of fun. And then I was actually on a plane home. I didn't even know that Hiram and Fortisphere had been effectively banned and court constructed until I landed. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
And one of the people I was traveling with, who does not play Lorcana, was sitting next to me and was like, oh no, what's wrong? And I was like, do you see all these messages? They banned Flava Flav. And like, I don't know. It changed the game so much. And it wasn't necessarily a bad change. Like, I think it was very healthy. I think it was the right choice. But it also was like really hard, because a lot of people had just spent $250, making sure they had their happy as clams. And they have all these crabs and they're ready to do the thing. And now they're like, oh, my secondary popsicle that doesn't taste as good is gone. And also my lovely Flava Flav is here trying to draw me cards, but he can't be in my deck anymore. And so it changed the way that the meta functioned. It allowed for mid-range decks and aggro decks to come back, but also the control decks. Everything from the game that we had seen in the past sets started to pop back up in different ways and manifestations. And then we move into Jafar. And Jafar was very interesting. I personally wasn't my favorite set. I like the lore of it. I think it's really cool. But I think coming from the ban, moving into Jafar felt like a culmination, and maybe this was on purpose, but a culmination of all of the previous metas from the last year and a half, all in one. And so like, it became hard to predict who's playing what. It became hard to predict how things were happening, but you did know archetypes. Like Amber Steel, for example, had 3 different main archetypes that were winning and topping tournaments. And like there was a trad version, there was a hybrid version, there was an aggro version. And somebody would sit down and some of the cards are the same. And so it definitely changed the way that the game worked. I think also with the anticipation of rotation, people were like, I'm going to play decks that I know this card's getting rotated out. Because, like Rapunzel, for example, we were pretty all positive that Rapunzel wasn't getting reprinted because some people say it's a broken card. Other people say that there are just other things in the game that replaced that and were more fair to everyone playing. And I think that while it's the right decision, that's a card that I really love. And I enjoyed playing for at DLCs. Like it is a card that now you can only play it in infinity. And so I was like, I'm going to give it a good time because I'm not going to get to play it again. And if that is something that you care about, for instance, in a meta, like some people were like, I'm going to get my card or my mat and I'm going to then play something fun and whimsical. And we also got to see at the, I don't remember the name of it, but it was Arkansas tournament. It was super cool. One of our teammates, Courtney, who is also on Enchanted Chatter, was the top seed going into Top Cut for this big tournament, where she did end up losing, but she lost to the person who won the tournament, who had a Christmas deck. It was called the Christmas. It was red, green, ruby, emerald, and it was fantastic. It was the thing that everybody who wanted ruby green to work, we were like, okay, it does. And getting to watch those on stream, like those games, it was a lot of fun, and it got to take down blue red in finals, which is it's designed to do that. And like I know Courtney had a really great time, but also like this was the meta where things started to shift and change, and we also almost got this like bookend of like this deck that hasn't worked really ever, got to work it just in time for the rotation to happen and half of the deck to go away. And I think that's something so beautiful because that deck wouldn't have even remotely been playable in the meta if everybody was still playing the blue steel deck from Right Sea. And so, we also got Duel Links. So far, they're not doing anything substantial to the meta. But I will tell you, on our theme nights at League, Jordan, who is a good friend of mine, loves to play the Baymax that has universal shift. And, when one happens, you're like, man, that sucks. But when the second one comes down, you're like, okay, I do play 4 Zeus, but like I would prefer to not use have to have all 4 Zeus in the first 5 turns of my game. It is wild. So I think that the meta is definitely going to shift after rotation with some of those early decks. But like the Jafar meta was so interesting because it kind of felt like a bookend in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think for the Dual Ink, I think one thing it did do is get people thinking about things that might come into play a little bit more post-rotation. Like I think we really saw some different ways to do the PBJ, the Amber Amethyst mix up, and the emerald sapphire, which we're seeing so much of both of those right now as we make this sort of meta hop right now. It's really interesting to watch. I was one of those people who was like, oh no, my favorite decks are going away, and I definitely pivoted back to Steel Song for the end there. I made a deck called the Farewell Tour to say goodbye to my ladies, and did really well with it. And pivoting a little bit to the Gen Con conversation, I was able to get 2 playmats at Gen Con, which felt like really amazing.
Yeah.
I participated in 8 tournaments, and I got the 3-0 twice and the 2-0 5 times. So it was really, really good. It was a lot of fun. I'd never been to Gen Con before. Have you been before?
I've never been.
So listen, I did not actually understand the scope of what I was walking into. 70 plus thousand people
Yeah.
were at the space, right?
And I was just like, are we at a football game?
So, okay, it's in a giant convention center and in the stadium beside it, and in all of the conference space of 4 hotels in the general surrounding area.
Crazy.
Like, the scope, I was there specifically for Lorcana stuff. I'm always like hunting my promos, and I'm a big collector, right? So I was there for mostly Lorcana stuff. But wow, was it just so overwhelming for the senses. There was a little piece of something for everybody. There were some cosplayers. There was really great ADA accessibility stuff, which was really helpful, because I don't think I could have managed a situation like that with my knee. Spanning all these buildings. One of the things we did is called a true dungeon, which, like, not super cost effective. Kind of an expensive thing. Probably the only time I will do that. But it was so fun. And if there's a way we could figure out how to do it cheaper, I'm here for that. But you actually like walked through. It was LARPing in a dungeon.
Yeah.
Made up a big significant piece of a stadium. So there's just so much there. And then to be able to be at a space where that, because it's been so long since we've had DLCs, right? To be able to be in a space where you saw your Lorcana community coming together. Like, I was at the airport on my way in, and I was like, is that DKP? I'm gonna go over and say hi to DKP, take a little picture for the socials, right? It was a lot of fun to just see some of the other content creators, some of just the community that I've come to know from the different DLCs, because Gen Con attracted such a wide variety of people, like the DLCs do, right? So while I recognize that I was in this like Lorcana microcosm of the event, popping out a little bit, we did some Star Wars Unlimited stuff, we did some like Pandemic, some other game things. My partner came and got to the quarterfinals of the National Spades Championships. It was just such a wild, amazing weekend. So many cool things are happening on site. So much to see. There's like a balloon sculpture that they build, and then people pop it at the end. Like they auction off for charity pops of the balloons. And there's like this place called Card Hollow where people are using all of their chaff to build a city out of cards that similarly they auction off, like tearing down the city at the end of the event. Like, there's so much
that's so cool
stuff going on. I 100% recommend it. The whole experience is not cost effective. This is
I was gonna say,
being honest, like, this is the time to start planning now for next year. Places are already starting to get booked because it's so big that when we walked into the airport, there was a sign that said "Welcome Gen Con" in the airport, right? That's how huge it is. It probably is like this economic just boost for the city every year, to have just everybody taking over the planes. Both of the planes that we were on, coming and leaving, we're full of Gen Con people cheering about Gen Con. Like, I've never had that kind of
That's
experience
wild.
before.
Yeah.
So certainly worth doing it, but like, start planning and saving now because it's pretty expensive. Had so much fun.
If you had to like pick your favorite thing from Gen Con, what would it be?
You mean outside of winning?
Outside of winning your 2 playmats.
I think my favorite piece of Gen Con, honestly, it was getting to form relationships with the people that were running the events in the space.
Yeah.
I think that most of the time in those customer service roles, it's a hard place to be. It's hard to be the one that has to say, sorry, that thing's sold out, there's no more, to the next person in line. It's hard to be like, there's no space, I'm sorry you didn't win. Like, there's a lot of like, everyone's complaining to you. It's a tough position to be in sometimes. And the staff all across everything that was Lorcana based, whether it was like the Ravensburger booth or the questing pieces, which I'll talk a little bit about, or the game space, because these are all in different parts of the space. The staff were just also friendly, and it was nice to take a minute and just get to know them a little bit and chat with them and learn a little bit about the experience from their side of things, you know. That it was really pleasant.
Nice.
I think it was cool to do the quests. I think the way the quests were set up is there was a quest for each set, and you would get 3 packs and a special sheet, and you could do the regular sheet or you could do the extra hard sheet, just for a challenge, right? And essentially your sheet had 5 or 6, I can't remember, cards on it. And your job was to open your packs. Everybody would open their packs at the same time, and then you would trade with people to get the cards that you had on your list. And when you had your cards on your list, you'd go get it checked, you'd get a stamp, and you'd get a promo card of the Anna, I think, Icebreaker, which is so pretty. It's on somewhere, I'm not sure where. They're so pretty. And it was a really nice community building experience, right? But as I'm talking about community, I'm remembering a moment that I think I liked a little bit better. If I had to pick my one favorite moment, and I think that was during the cast, during the second anniversary cast that happened. There was this like 4 or 5 minute period of time where they were talking about Dumbo and Goofy movie, and I looked around and like half of the audience had tears in their eyes, you know, and it was just like this moment of remembering that piece of nostalgia and how that hits when like the thing you grew up with is the thing that you're now going to see. It was so interestingly emotional. And that was really cool. It was cool to see that. It was cool to see that piece of what makes Lorcana community so different, because there's all these overlapping desires that bring you into this community. And it makes TCG players out of some of us who never were TCG players. And for some of us who were only ever TCG players, it shows them different ways that we can interact in community and different ways that we can build community. I think it's just like a really like sort of a warm fuzzy, you know, and I think that was probably the piece that was the nicest to have as a memory from the weekend.
Yeah, I love that. I remember like we were messaging while you were there and y'all were having so much fun, and I was like, because briefly I had thought about going, and then I started doing calculations, and it was like, oh, this isn't happening. I did not plan in enough time, and like that's totally fine. I got to live vicariously through you when you sent me the first picture of the playmat you won, and then the second one, and I was like, come on, get a third. But like,
I tried to get you one.
No, it's okay. Like everyone that went had such a great time, and it was just like such a good communal experience. And I think especially with all the stuff going on in the world right now, the doom and the gloom that is just pervasively a part of our everyday and on social media, like this is that little nugget of happiness. And like you talk about like the community building aspect, like that matters, and like these memories will stay. But like also this is a larger moment. A lot of people too like talk to new players at Gen Con, and like people that were there for other things that none of us know exist there.
Right.
And they just like happened upon this Disney trading card game, and they were like, oh wait, like this is still around, like I've heard about this, and like no, this is actually a thing. Because what I have heard, I mean, I'm relatively new to TCG in that I played a TCG prior to Lorcana, but like I didn't play it competitively. I play Lorcana competitively. And the thing about the TCG community is, unless it was like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, like you're always told like, oh, the game's gonna die. The game's gonna die in at least 3 years, like if it even makes it that far. And a lot of people like cite the Bandai games for this. And I think the thing that has like made so many people into believers is like Lorcana is going strong, and also like even right now people are testing for the rotation, and Dreamborn is going down.
Yeah.
Because there are just so many people doing it. And I don't remember who it was that posted on Twitter, but was like, yeah, Lorcana is a dying game. That's why when I go to get on Dreamborn to build potential decks for after rotation, it says there are too many users. It's like, yeah, this is the DLCs are selling out faster than any other trading card event. Like it is what, and don't get me wrong, there was some issues. We already talked about those. Still, it's insane the following behind this, and a lot of it is the Disney IP for sure, but also so many people go because of the community piece. Like not everybody's going to be the next DKP or Luke or Wonderland. Like that's not the goal.
Right.
Some people are going just for fun, and a lot of people are going for the memories. And I think like hearing your story of Gen Con, like I knew Gen Con existed. I knew that things were announced at Gen Con, but I was like,
Sure.
that's that happens.
We've also got PAX here, which is like 45,000. So like it's I assumed it was similar to that.
Mm-hmm. Very fair. And like my conventions have largely been academic or speech and debate related, which is also just competitive academics. And like we don't, it's not like that. We do not get on a plane and everybody's like, oh yeah, National Communication Conference. Like nobody's doing that. And so to hear some of like just the excitement that everybody's just, even if you're not even playing the same game, like Gen Con brought this like level of just like love for doing things in community that like I think at the time that we are currently in our nation and in the world, we need it, and it's just so beautiful. And I think it means a lot for the like community going forward and stuff. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, I also forgot you mentioned announcing things at Gen Con. They announced the new promos that are location specific. So they're doing something this year at like in a week and a half at Disneyland, which I just so happen to have a trip planned to Disneyland that weekend. So I'm so excited because that just lined up amazingly. Where there's going to be, they're going to open up the Beasts library, which Belle is my good girl Disney person. Because she's French and a brunette like me who likes to read. And so I would just be excited to see the library, period. I've never seen it. But it seems like there's going to be a quest that we can do there that might be similar. I'm not sure how exactly it's going to work, but I'll talk about it next time we come on. And hopefully I'll be able to score one of those promos.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. I will look forward to hearing about it and seeing pictures, you know, to again live vicariously through you. Because I've never been to a Disney property. We've explained I'm not the Disney adult in this duo. But like I still enjoy it and I think it's really cool. I I'm excited because it seems like not only is the game expanding into different regions and different areas, but it seems like, at least from my perspective, that we're seeing like an expansion beyond just the game.
Yeah.
Like we're now seeing not even just merchandise, but experiences. Like we are now crossing into this threshold that is like clearly where other TCGs have been.
Right. And haven't. Like, isn't there a cruise thing happening right now?
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard of a Magic the Gathering cruise. Right.
I think Pokemon had something. I don't know that it was a cruise, but it was like some excursion, something. But like, yeah, you're so right. And I think that's a great example of like, they're clearly doing things, and Disney is caring about this game, which is amazing and impactful. And like, I'm not a big get on a big cruise ship. I watched a documentary that I probably shouldn't have watched, and now I'm like, well, what if the toilet stopped working? And so I don't know that I will ever get the opportunity to go on this
we can both live vicariously. We have to find somebody. If you are that somebody that we can live vicariously through, send us a message in your photos.
Yeah, shout out Missy Enchanted, because I know that she did some stuff with that as well. And people that go on cruises, I love that for you. And I've always wanted to ride one of those slides, the water slide that like goes off the boat and comes back on. Like that sounds like a lot of fun. Or the old like commercials that had like the big trikes that you could ride out on the ocean. Like that sounds so much fun to me. Unfortunately, the boat's just a little too big for me to be that far away from land. And that's how I feel about it. But who knows? Maybe all the cruise ship passengers are going to defeat Jafar and take his crown again, and who knows?
I mean, out there, you're probably more likely to run into Ursula again. I'd be down for that.
Right. Let's take a vote right now. Who's our favorite big bad so far?
Oh, for sure, Ursula.
Oh, 1,000%.
Ursula. Always.
Yeah, 1,000%. So
I'll be Disney bounding as Ursula this next week when I go. I'm very excited. Also, speaking of other ways that they're expanding, they announced puzzles. Yes. Which is pretty cool because the art is amazing. You don't even need to be into the game at all to appreciate the art. And I love the way that they've set it up by ink color, because it also, I think, I don't know if this is true, but I have this idea in my head that I'm going to, like, do you remember back in the 90s, they had these like 3D magic eye posters that you would just sort of stare at and your brain would like, I imagine that I'm going to sit and I'm going to look at these posters or these puzzles and, and be like, that's the perfect deck idea I never thought of.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think that the puzzles are really cool. And getting to watch people do them in like speed runs was also really cool. I like puzzles a lot. I think that they did it very tastefully. Like you said, you don't have to be into the game to like enjoy it. And I think that's awesome. I think that's probably like the fact that this is where they're at going into this next year is a great spot. And everybody's getting ready for all of like the big tournaments and the DLCs coming up. And I think it's really exciting. Do you want to talk a little bit about the starter decks from these sets?
Let me switch over the camera situation a little bit to do that. I have here the Archazia's Island starter decks. One of them here, this Amethyst Steel deck, has our Jafar and Iago. Then over here, this Ruby Sapphire is prominently featuring our girl Belle and the Beast. An inventive pair. Victory can be part of your tale with these ruby and sapphire glimmers in hand or paw. Together, Belle, mechanic extraordinaire, and Beast, frustrated designer, tinker around with items, tools, and even discarded scrap to engineer a winning strategy. It's what you get when a pretty ingenious mind meets one beast of a brain. Ooh, that sounds fun. I love that. Okay, let's get a little more nefarious. Feathered and feared. This bickering duo know how to make a scene. While Amethyst Glimmer and Illusion, Iago, giant spectral parrot, causes havoc, Amethyst and Steel Glimmer Jafar, newly crowned, manipulates such specters to trick opponents. Powerful in their own right, illusions help push you to victory, but can disappear like sand in the wind. Spooky. Well, so that's the Archasia's deck ones, or the Archasia's Island ones. I actually opened up my Reign of Jafar ones when we had our first episode. So I'm going to just read the back of these ones. So the first one you'll recall was the Amber Amethyst deck, and it's called A Harmonious Team. These amber amethyst glimmers hit all the right notes. Tiana, natural talent, Bruno Madrigal, singing seer, and many others sing magical melodies to help you on your quest. This choir of characters will soon have you singing the sweet song of victory. So again, they're sort of like showing us about how the amber amethyst combo could be really good for singing. And then we've got the Ruby Steel, which is another deck I expect to see a lot of post-rotation. Brave and Brazen. Mulan charging ahead, and Stitch, alien troublemaker, are ready to meet any challenge as they storm Jafar's palace. With Ruby and Steel heroes and glimmers like these, this deck has enough strength to make quick work of enemies as you race towards triumph. All right.
Look at us.
Okay. Amazing. Welcome back, Alex. And let me pull out my deck. So I guess this time we're not actually going to play starter decks. We're going to say one last goodbye to a pre-rotation deck together.
Yeah. Steel Song has my heart.
Yeah, mine too, although I'm not going to be playing Steel Song today.
That's very fair. Me neither.
Yeah, right.
Ha ha ha. I absolutely this set said it's Steel Song or bust, and so
yeah.
I didn't get a chance to go to a whole lot of set champs. I think I got to do 2 total. Like it didn't end up working out. But it did very well at the set champs, and I topped with it. And this particular meta, I think, put a lot of decks in some very good places, like we were talking about, where you got to play some things that you wouldn't have gotten to play. Think through things in different ways. What kind of cut would you like?
I'm gonna tap.
Alrighty. I will do the same.
All right. High roll?
If we must. Now that we're not playing starter decks, I feel like I have a better shot at winning.
I have an 8.
And I said that, but I guess I'm going to not win the die roll. So
I'm going to guess you probably have a good shot at winning. I did some anti-spell work this morning.
Yeah.
So maybe I've lifted the curse.
I hope so. I not winning a single starter deck match. Like I do just think starter decks are not for me. And that's okay. But it is painful. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm going back 3.
I'm gonna go back.
Why?
3 as well.
That's terrible.
I'm glad I went back 3.
I am okay with having gone back 3. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say I'm glad, but I'm not mad. I also love that for some reason, I don't know how it looks on your screen, but on my screen, it looks like our decks our mats are facing away from each other.
Yeah, they do. It's so good. We actually planned that for you.
I mean, yeah. Would you like to cut my deck?
I'll tap.
Okay.
What about you?
Same. All right. I am going to ink. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ink a lady to play a lady and pass.
Alrighty.
This is the 0/3 1 lore. Whenever you play a character, this character gets +1 strength this turn. While this character has 3 or more strength, she gets +2 lore.
We love that. I'm going to ink a Cindy, peep the D23 beautiful lady.
Woo!
And then I'm going to play a Rhino, giving your lady -1, though it doesn't super matter. And then I will pass.
Okie dokie. I will ink this Nala. I will play this Lilo and pass.
Alrighty. I will draw. I will ink this Troubadour to pay 2 to shift my Rhino.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will have Rhino do 4 to lady or 5 to lady. And then I will pass.
I will draw for turn. I will ink this lady. I will pay 3 for this lady. And I will play the Merfolk as her ability and pass.
Alrighty. I will draw for turn. Cards in hand.
2.
2.
I just realized I don't have a lore counter.
We'll ink a Rhino.
Okay.
To play a Pete. No actions for you.
No actions for me.
And then I will quest for 2 with my Rhino to go to 2.
Okie dokie.
And pass.
I will draw for turn. What do I want to do right now? Not a whole heck of a lot. I will pay 1 for Nala. 2 for the Prince and Bodyguard. And I will quest for 6, up to 6, and pass.
What is it's the 0/5 Prince?
Yes.
Okay. I will draw for turn. I will ink Bare Necessities for turn. And I will play a Cindy and another Pete, so no actions for you.
No actions for me.
You know, since you rely so heavily on them.
I know.
And then I will take out the Prince.
Bye-bye, Prince.
And then I will pass.
You bought me another quest.
Yeah.
Draw for turn. Not great.
That's what I like to hear.
I'll pay 1 for lady. I will quest for 7 up to 13 and pass.
Alrighty. All right. Alrighty. Let's see. I will have Cindy take out Merfolk, and I will discard A Whole New World.
Seems wise.
Yeah. It seems like a bad card in this meta. Or
Yeah.
I'll have Rhino do something. I'll have Rhino take out Nala. And then Pete will take out the Lady and the Lilo.
Lady and Lilo.
And then I will pass.
Okay, I will not play the Lilo. Turn. I will pay 1 for a Lady. Quest for 1 to 14 and pass.
Alrighty. What is that lady's stat line?
1, 2. She's a itty bitty baby.
1, 2. Cindy will sing Storm on the standing lady. And I'll draw. I will pay 4 for Rapunzel to heal the 2 here, to draw 2. We'd love to see it.
We'd love to see it.
This Pete that already has damage will take the lady. And then I will quest for 3, going to 5. And I will ink Namari for turn and pass.
Draw. I will ink the Tramp, pay 4 for Rapunzel and pass.
You don't want to heal nothing? Alrighty. And you're at 14, that's correct?
Indeed.
Alrighty. I'll draw for turn. I'll pay 4 for a Rapunzel to heal the 2, to draw 2. Sorry, I'm doing math. All right. I will quest for 7.
Very nice.
To go to 12. And then I will pass.
And then you have 9 on board?
Correct.
Correct. That's going to be the game, my friend. I'll quest for 2 to 16 and pass.
I finally won.
See?
Yeah. No, I had a storm in hand. and a whole new world Naveen. I was like, I
Amazing.
have answers this next turn, which is fine.
Have answers.
I was like, all I'm finding are storms. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Sometimes you just gotta know when to turn sideways.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
If you had gotten a second prince, I was like, if you get another prince here, I lose.
No.
Because
I don't think so.
Well, not right here. When I took out the prince, that's what I had to dedicate my turn to. I was like, oh no. And I had the Namari in hand 2 turns, and I was like, do I ink it? Or do I play?
I was surprised, yeah.
The choice
such a good engine.
It's because I had a second Rapunzel in hand, and I valued the Rapunzel first. And then I drew, so I inked the Namari, and then I drew off of the Rapunzel another Rapunzel, and I was like, oh, that's cute.
Nice.
So I had 3 of them. I was like, well, so good to know.
Amazing.
Yeah, but
right.
That was some riveting gameplay for real.
It was. All right. Finally, the curse is gone. Yay.
I think I just shouldn't play starter decks. I think that's the gist of the story.
Fair enough. So we are so excited. This brings us to the end of our ramp up to rotation. We've been through all the sets. We've shared a little bit about our experiences as the game grew. And now we're going to be switching format a little bit. We're going to be having some more guest hosts in with us to chat a little bit about their experiences. We're going to do a little more casual play, a little less info dumping, and more just hanging out. We want to get to know you all. Send us your questions. Send us your deck ideas. We'd love to give them a shot. Happy to run one of your lists and see what we think about it, how it works for us, how we would play it similarly to or differently, all kinds of things. We're really moving into a more casual, sort of chill environment, and we want to do that with you.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a good time. And I think that this new format, while it is going to be more casual, it's going to be more conversational. And that is something that I think helps the community. And you get to be here with us. If you want to jump on and play some games with us, we can do that too. We're going to do some cool play days and stuff like that. And excited to see what happens post-rotation. I think this is a great time for all of us, especially here at RottenToTheLore.
So we're looking forward to that, where Alex is going to be busy getting ready for some of their life's work stuff over the next episode. So I'll be back here with a special guest host, and we can't wait to spend some time with you. Remember, good or evil, every glimmer has a place, and so do you. See you next time on RottenToTheLore.